Yep, another amazing Mutt Lange snare trick. Next on Music Surgery with Dr. Bob. This week, we're exploring a snare trick from back in the Mutt AC/DC era, but it can even be used now with killer results. Back in the day, before samples or triggering sounds was even heard of, Mutt ran a 100 Hz tone and a white noise tone out of tone generators. He would silence the tone or gate the tone to only open when the snare drum was struck. This gave a different type of thud and sizzle to the snare than just trying to EQ the snare itself.
Okay, so here we're dealing with a 100 Hz tone and white noise. This is just a solid test tone of 100 Hz. You can see on this EQ graph that it's right at 100 Hz. So what this tone basically represents is anything in your track that has bass or kick or a low part of a synth or even a snare that has this tone in it. Now we can dip this tone out of things or add more of this tone. But that's what 100 Hz sounds like. Now, in this track, we have a test tone of white noise, which sounds like this. It's what all us drummers use at night to mask our tinnitus. So, what I've done is I've cut up little pieces of 100 Hz and white noise and pasted them wherever the snare drum hits. All my fills, my tune 4 parts of the song, so they play whenever the snare drum hits. Now, let me play a little bit of this drum track. Mutt Lange-esque drums. For this track, I didn't want to go too Mutt Lange because actually if I add in all the other instruments, it sounds more like a Florida Georgia Line type track. So, let me show you basically what Mutt did with these 100 Hz tones. Here's the snare drum before the tone. Now let me add the 100 Hz with the snare. Now that 100 Hz by itself is just this. I've also added some of this reverb, nonlinear, to spread the 100 Hz tone as well. Here it is without that. Right up the middle. Here it is with that reverb. Gives it some depth. I've also compressed it, and I don't mind that distortion on it. It pops it out a little more. By itself, snare by itself, and together. A really easy, quick way to get some bottom in and thump to your snare down there without trying to pull the 100 Hz from these snare drum samples. That kind of sounds like the snare drum on the Heartbeat City Cars album. A lot of low end in that snare. Now, let's move on to white noise. Here, I did the same thing, And when you cut these up, make sure you obviously fade the ending so you don't get a pop. Here is what the white noise sounds like. Same thing. I've got some spread on it here. Let me take that off. Now what this does is it does something to the attack of the snare drum that really makes it pop out more than any rim shot or stick attack. Here's the snare without it and with it. I could even exaggerate that with some EQ. So, my 100 hertz and white noise together. Now, with my snare, all of it playing together. So here's without them, with. Huge difference. And like I said, I can control any amount of that I want. Now to go down the rabbit hole a little bit, if I wanted to tune this 100 hertz higher or lower, depending on how it sounded in the track with the snares that I have, I could transpose those by, I could do it by fine tuning or half steps here. Fine tuned to taste, right? So here we are again. With the rest of the instruments. There you have it, the Mutt Lange test tone and white noise trick.
So that's how they did it then. It's a great trick even to this day, but a lot easier now to just cut and paste rather than gating a tone generator. If you don't have a 100 hertz tone or a clip of white noise, go to my store, there's a link below, and grab them there for free. Cut them up like I did and you'll be surprised at how much they help a snare, or a kick drum for that matter, cut through a track. I've just received this text from Mutt Lange. Let me read it to you. Dear Dr. Bob, even though your channel sucks, I hope people will subscribe and ring the bell so I can continue to watch this lame. Love, Mutt. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and now go mutt your snare. Also, thanks so much for all the comments, and please keep them coming. Any and all suggestions for upcoming episodes are totally welcome, as this episode was the idea of someone who wrote in. Take care, and I'll see you the next time the doctor's in.